mentioned, we had planned this program quite long ago, and it was actually meant only mainly for our principals. But with the changing situation, we thought of including our teachers too, seeing the necessity of the time. So, first and foremost, I thank Father Thomas who has taken the initiative to organize this program. And he has chosen eminent personalities for as resource persons. Earlier, we thought it would be physical, and we would select people from locally here, from Jaipur itself. But later on, Father Thomas contacted people from Delhi and Bangalore, and all agreed. So it became a big event, though we didn't intend it in the beginning. So I'm grateful to Father Thomas for getting these eminent persons as resource persons for these 4-day seminar, 3 days webinar. Now, during these 3 days, as you have already seen in the program, we will be dealing with the concept of education pedagogy, new education policy, the regulations that come out from time to time from CBSE, then the online platform for education, new trends that are setting up, and integrated learning in schools. These are the important topics that have been chosen for our understanding, for our reflection and learning. A few years ago, in education field, I was also there, and we never thought of in-service training. Once you have done your B.Ed and M.A. Or any other degree, one considered himself or herself as completely educated. And so we taught whatever we knew. Then it was old was gold. So on that principle, we thought of teaching whatever was old, and we never thought of in-service programs and training, formation, etc. So now the times have changed. Now the entire education system is changing. We had the Kothari Commission directives given a few years ago, and in the past about 30 years, 35 years, we have been following the Kothari Commission directives in our education policy. Now, the new education policy has come out, and now we need to understand the new education policy, which has changed the pattern of our system, education system, and also has given new insights for our for our forthcoming generation. And so that's why the updating, keeping up ourselves with the changing times has become very, very essential. So that's why this type of training is necessary from time to time. As I said earlier, it was a permanent affair. Today, the education is changing, system is changing, or the thought process is changing as the seasons are changing. And as we know, the seasons also are not certain. The weather forecast, sometimes we get bluffed thinking that tomorrow would be a rainy day, and then we find it is a bright sunny day. So as the seasons are changing, as the weather is not certain, similarly, we are not, our education also is not
No.
मतलब अपन
Yes,
सुन के
Bishop.
दूसरा काम भी कर सकते हैं ना आप
I think, Father, there's some network issues from the bishop's side. He's not there in the meeting. He has left the meeting by mistake.
Right.
Yeah.
So now, as Bishop comes back, we'll see. Just now, we have one call. Yes, Bishop. Yeah, I think you are disconnected. Yeah. You are not seen anywhere. So we.
Father, you want to unmute?
Father,
We
kindly
cannot hear
unmute.
your voice, Father.
So friends, we have with us as the moderator of the day, Mrs. Meenu Paul, a faculty of our school. She is appointed as the moderator of the day. She will guide us the do's and don'ts, and she will introduce the topics for us. She will regulate the question interactive session, and then she will welcome the resource person as well. Meenu ma'am, welcome. Kindly take
Thank
over.
you, Father. Thank you so much, Father. I'm so delighted to be the moderator of the first day program of 3-day webinar on NEP 2020. A warm welcome to Reverend Fathers, Sisters, teachers, and other distinguished guests. Since all of us are deeply engaged in the education mission, the transformational process of children in schools, it is quite critical that we all need to understand the details of this new policy, especially the underlying implication to school education. Developing a comprehensive and common perspectives on this significant policy, it will help us to build a strong foundation to work collectively on issues of education in future. It is in this context that our Jaipur Diocese have planned this 3-day webinar starting from today. For your information, there will be 4 sessions each day of 1 and 1.5 hours duration. In order to enlighten us on the nuances of this policy, today we have with us 3 eminent resource persons. Dr. Richard Jonas, who will be taking our first session, followed by Father John Ravi, taking up the second as well as the third session, and a conclusion by the fourth session taken up by Mr. George Thomas. We welcome you, all of you. Before we formally start with our first session, I would like to share some of the guidelines that we all need to observe strictly in order to ensure optimum outcome and learning from this 3-day program. So first, participants, these sessions will be recorded and all the participants are requested to adhere to the norms of the official meeting and maintain the decorum as a symbol of mutual respect. Secondly, you all are requested to make sure that your microphone is on mute mode throughout the program. If any urgent communication is required, there is a raise hand feature in the Microsoft app. Either you can raise your hand or you can communicate it through the chat box. So it is a request that you can keep your chat box open throughout the sessions. Thirdly, there will be limited number of queries taken up from the participants after every session. A 15 minutes question answer round will be there. So you are requested to properly structure your question, make it brief and drop it in the chat box. Fourthly, those participants who will attend all the sessions during this 3-day webinar will be awarded with e-certificates of participation. Therefore, your attendance is mandatory. So kindly, participants, please adhere to these guidelines. Let me now introduce you to our first resource speaker, Dr. Jonas Richard. Dr. Jonas Richard comes with 20 plus years of experience with a unique combination of expertise in the areas of life skill education, employee engagement, CSR consultation, implementation of action research, and promotion of psychological well-being. A trainer by passion and academician by profession, Dr. Jonas facilitates regular training sessions in the area of life skill education. As a certified life skill coach, he trains on capacity building training and training of the trainers in life skills. His target group includes schools, colleges, army personnel, and corporates. Dr. Jonas has published several research articles, authored books, and written chapters in the books. Currently, Dr. Jonas Richard is the head of the Department of Social Work and the director of the Center for Life Skills Education and Center for Continuous Professional Development in Christu Jayanti College, Bangalore. We welcome you, sir. Today, Dr. Jonas will be speaking on virtual classroom management strategies and positive discipline techniques. Over to you, sir. Sir, you can unmute and speak.
Am I heard?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. You're audible now.
Thank you, thank you. Most Reverend Bishop, Father Thomas,
No, not at all. Very good.
faculty members, and very Reverend Fathers, Reverend Sisters, teachers, and the
Yeah, I can
Sir,
hear.
can you make your audio a little more louder?
Oh. Now, is it okay?
Better.
Okay, maybe I'll use headphone. Just give me,
Yeah.
please give me headphones. Okay, so thank you at the outset for the permission and the opportunity to share some of my thoughts and also thoughts of my colleagues on some dimension of education. As all of us know, one of the fast changing industry today is the education industry. Unless we as educational leaders prepare ourselves enough, we may not be successful in dealing with today's children. It is with this background, I have put on few of my thoughts in specifically understanding today's children and especially managing online classes. With this background, I'll get inside and anywhere you have any doubt, any clarification, you may not have doubt because all of you are great teachers. You have been in the education industry for very long years. Okay, so with all my humility, whatever little knowledge that we have, I would like to present. And any clarification, please put it in the chat box and then we can take it forward. So as you know that from Christu Jayanti College, an institution run by CMI Fathers, a 20-year-old institution, started with the 9 students. Today we have about 8,200 students. Maximum because of the contribution of the teachers. Why I am saying is, if we are able to motivate the teachers, a teacher can make the institution. A teacher can make the institution or break the institution. A teacher can build the institution or bulldoze the institution. It's all depending on how effectively the teachers are empowered. First of all, congratulations dear fathers, sisters, you're all doing a wonderful work in this education ministry, especially in the Jaipur diocese. And thank you for accompanying children, especially during this time of health crisis, global pandemic. It is you who are taking up the lead in terms of helping children to continue the education. Okay, request you to please open your chat box. Please put it in the chat box. What do you see? There is a picture. Okay, I think some fathers who are sitting there, they may not be able to type in the chat box. The others who are having your system with you, either you can say or put it in the chat box. Stats not arranged properly. Thank you, Aldrin. Deepika Yadav, clapping hands with the congratulations. No, I think I went to the next slide.
So the next slide is not visible to us. So
Sorry. You don't
yes,
see
sir.
standing
Now it's fine, sir.
Okay. Man trying to see the next side of the wall. Anything else? The person doesn't know how to use the resources. Thank you, Arun George, sir. Man is trying to see the next. Okay, for Thomas peeping on the other side. Okay. I think somebody had already put it very nicely. Dear friends, what this person needs, suppose you just touch him and ask him, what do you want? I'm sure he will say, please give me some more ladders. Okay, that is the position he is in now. But in reality, what he needs is not few more ladders. What he needs is knowing how to use one ladder. Dear friends, in our education industry, with over the years of experience, all of us are experts in the field of education. As time goes, what we continue to realize is, it is not that more and more resources are required, but knowing how to use the existing resource. It is my humble opinion to all the Reverend Fathers and Sisters and the coordinators, if we want to make the change, or if we want to be the change makers, we don't need too many things. We have the great legacy of education. We are only 2% of the population, but still we are doing a great work with education. What is needed is not more and more resources. What is needed is knowing how to use one existing resource. Thank you. Hope my audio is a little better now.
Right.
Thank you for it. Okay, so therefore,
Yeah.
That's
not much better.
Yeah, thank you for that. Thank you. So I thought I would start this with this message. Let us not look for, or let us not complain that I don't have this, I don't have that. There is a quote which says, if somebody does not appreciate the existing resource, I don't think they are going to appreciate anything future that whatever you are going to give. So as we deal with our teachers, one important message that we need to convey as educational leaders is making them or helping them to understand or be grateful to the existing resource, or knowing how to even make the existing resource. I'm sure they will be able to appreciate whatever we provide. With this, I will go into the discussion track. Today, these are the few things that we will take it up for discussion. We will talk about the concept of virtual learning, the online classes, and what is the major shift that has taken place between online class from the regular classes. All of us know by experience, a teacher who is successful in offline class need not be successful in online class, because offline class requires only two things. One is your subject knowledge, Second, your ability to communicate or transmit that knowledge. But what happens in online classes is there is a third element which creeps in. Your subject knowledge, your ability to transmit the knowledge, and third one, you have something called the technology which takes you to the learner. Most of us were not used to it. In fact, this Microsoft Teams, I learned only yesterday evening when we had a short meeting how to do this. Good that we had that yesterday. Today I am a little comfortable. So it is, I may be a good trainer or I may be a good teacher, but if I am not very comfortable in the technology, I may be an utter flop. That is what is happening to some of the teachers who are having a very poor job satisfaction, who say, sir, I know the subject, I am able to communicate well, but what is missing is I am not able to communicate according, with the help of the technology. I am not so much comfortable with the technology. So that we would discuss. Then we would discuss what are the elements of virtual learning. We will also see what are the challenges that are perceived challenges in online and how do we manage students in online classroom. That's very challenging, and all of us know that new challenges are emerging because of technology, challenges that we never thought. One major thing all of you would have realized as teachers and principals, in offline class, whichever child was very quiet, withdrawn, and those people have become very active through online classes. Because they are not afraid of criticism, they are not afraid of bullying, they are not afraid of being teased by their classmates. In fact, they do a lot of other mischiefs because they are, you have some certain sort of anonymity. That we would discuss. Then we will get into the concept of disciplinary issues in online classes. And what is the role of cyber school principals? Today, with the advent of the online education, all of us are cyber school principals. What is our role? And why we need to move from manager to a leader? Why this role shift is required? And some basic do's and don'ts in virtual classes. Finally, some tips on being positive discipline techniques. If there is anything that we can take it up, I thought I will also give you, since there are most principles, some tips on dealing with the 21st century teachers. Because the problem with today human resource management in HR is, whether it is a religious or a secular, we use 19th century principle to deal with the 20th century people. Some of our HR policies, some of our way of dealing with the people need to change. That we will see. Now, before we go into our online classes, certain challenges of today's children. What are the challenges of the background of today's children? Number one, what we call it a new normal, AC. We call it a BC and AC. BC is nothing but before Corona, AC is after Corona. Okay, so in BC, everything was under control. Now you will see in AC, okay, that is after Corona or a DC, during Corona. Okay, so the main thing is people's sleeping pattern and food pattern has changed. Children, if you look at some of your students, you may not be even able to recognize. A thin fellow will look like very bulky. Okay, and children have no regular time of eating. Okay, it applies to some of us also as adults. They eat like a hungry cow. Whenever I feel hungry, I eat. There is no concept of breakfast, there is no concept of lunch, there is no concept of dinner. I sleep whenever, because this food and sleep disturbs our biological clock. Okay? Not able to see my slide, ma'am? Is my slide visible, sir?
No, sir. The slide is not there, sir.
Okay.
A blank slide is visible.
Okay. I'll share again, ma'am. Now, ma'am?
Yes, sir, we can.
Okay. So, new normal. Thank you, Arun, sir. Just put the feedback easy for me to get it. Okay. One is change in the sleeping pattern. Second one is difficult. Either people sleep too much or sleep less. These two, ADL, activities of daily living, affects children to a large extent, and these two also decide the mental health of the learners. Then increased use of coffee, tea, tobacco, substance abuse, lot of other things. A lot of people started feeling lonely because their social life is disturbed, anxiety, stress, feeling of insecurity, and above all, fear of future. Okay, and some people have overeating and obesity, and above all, psychological health and physical fitness has become a serious concern. You see, when the schools reopen, number of children who wear glasses will be on the increase. Number of children who have the issues related to obesity will be on the increase. And parents have their own financial issues, health related concern. Now friends, why I am saying is that it is with this background children attend the online classes. This is the background with which they are coming in, and over expectation from parents. Okay, you know that Indian middle class parents, their expectation, okay, excessive expectation. You look at the tree, same tree has to bear all
Sir,
the
the slide is not visible, sir.
fruit. Minimize my. One minute, ma'am. Now, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So over expectation from parents, okay, that puts children in, especially children who are going to write their 10th standard exam, class 10 board exam, or class 12. Of course, the NEP things are going to change. So over expectation from the parents puts them. Now, with this background, we need to understand what is online classes. As all of us know, online classes are conducted over internet with the use of internet. This is not a recorded one live. There are three things that are required: two people and one technology, teacher, student, and technology. Now, what is a major shift that has taken place? Number one, the atmosphere of classroom has changed. Earlier, the child was not so comfortable sitting in the classroom. Today, the child is too comfortable or over comfortable at home. That is why many a times, all of you know that your own children may be also studying in schools. Most of these children put the mic off or video off. We do not know what they are playing. Okay, so it has moved from physical to virtual. Second one, in offline class, a child's personality was studied, a child's personality was visible. But today, we are very conveniently just closing only with an appearance. We really don't understand the child's personality. So in short, the real education, whether it is taking place, is a big question mark. I need your comments on that. Maybe a transmission of knowledge taking place. The real purpose of education, especially in our schools, we focus a lot on values. Are we able to do that in the current context? That's a big question mark we need to think about. Third, in an offline class, a teacher is expected to maintain silence. Here the teacher is, whether you are silent or not, just show me a mute. Don't let me not hear. So which means there is a certain level of ingenuity can come inside. I don't have to be silent. I can shout, but then I can mute it. Earlier, we were having a collaborative students, but today we are looking for a cooperative students who helps you to complete the class successfully. Earlier, uniform was a big focus. The physical education teachers, one of their main jobs was to, find out children who are not in proper uniform, or you have a coordinator or class animators. Today, that's okay. A dress code is okay. Okay. Earlier, punctuality was focused. How early you come on time. How, after that, how long you spend in the library. But today, if your attendance is given, I'm okay. Earlier, talking was focused. Today, chatting is focused. Earlier, if you know the subject and if you are able to communicate, you are a very good teacher. Now, even if you know the subject, even if you know how to communicate well, but if you are not mastering the technology, we may not be having so much job satisfaction. We may not be even able to communicate clearly the knowledge. Earlier, you were worried about the homework. Today, we are worried about the network. Earlier, you were teaching only your students within 4 walls of your school, in your classroom. Today, I know you will agree with me, you are not teaching only to your students, you are teaching the entire family. The whole family is listening to you. That is why we need to be doubly careful as your teachers, as educational leaders. We are doubly monitored. okay, some of the words that we use, some of the value system that we promote, or even casual comments or remarks that we pass during online classes, everything gets recorded, and the whole family is monitoring us. We monitor students, students parents monitor us. And as I said earlier, introverts were, now introverts have become more active through online classes. Now, what are the challenges for a teacher in online classes? Number one, okay friends, I am just going ahead with the understanding that all of us are familiar with these concepts. Anywhere you have anything, please put it in the chat box, we will discuss. The one is the technology dependence. I'm sure if you have one or two senior teachers, they may be finding it very difficult because adapting to the technology. Not that learning Microsoft Teams or Google Meet is a challenge, it is basically the mind shift. So my humble request to the dear fathers and sisters, when we want people to go for a new technology or new, pedagogy, it is the mind shift that is required, because change is more in the psychological than the what we see. Another big challenge today that we see is discipline issues. Okay, many schools are finding it extremely difficult. Some of the great teachers who are offline, taskmasters are finding difficult to have, online discipline as a challenge. And above all, teachers' motivation. You are dealing with the teachers.
Hello.
And hello, can I go ahead? Am I audible?
Yeah, go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yes, you are audible.
Okay. So, emotional encouragement becomes a major responsibility of the principals or the educational leaders, because we need to motivate the teachers, because it is possible because of this online, if the teacher is not so comfortable with the technology, there is a possibility for a teacher to get for a job dissatisfaction. And above all, the home atmosphere of the teacher. Okay, earlier teacher was free from distractions, no tension. She was focusing only on the children during class. But today, she also is a homemaker. The whole family is at home. She cooks, she is in the kitchen, she has to take care of children. She has to monitor her children attending classes. And it affects her performance in the online classes. This reality we need to take into consideration when we have a complaints from parents about the teacher's involvement. Plus the whole family is involved. Unless the family is committed, unless the family helps, the child cannot attend the class. Imagine the child attending a class, okay, the parents are watching TV in the next room, so it becomes a disturbance for the child, and the parents also should not feel that how long should I be sacrificing my family time or a TV time, or the father is working from home. It becomes a problem. Unprepared students are more these days, because one excuse most of the children give is the technology. My humble suggestion here, teachers and principals, do not be carried away by the technology excuses. Okay, today's children are much more techno savvy than all of us. That we need to understand. Okay, in fact, many of these guys are so mischievous in dealing with the technology. In Google, this Zoom classroom, I've heard in one of the classes, these students join together and put the teacher in the waiting room. Teacher is in the waiting room, I'm calling them, please permit me inside. Okay, so that is the strength of the technology of these today's learners. And over interference and over anxiety of the parents. Okay, as you know, some parents become over selfish. If there are 60 children in the class, every child wants the best attention to be given only for her child. Otherwise, they say, no, teacher is not taking care. Teacher is not involved. Okay, and when those complaints come to us as the principals or educational leaders, as coordinators, we need to take into consideration the background or expectation of the parents. And above all, we need to remember parents are also equally responsible during these online classes. Earlier in offline classes, if children come to our classes, parents will drop the children and go. Parents' responsibility is not so much. Children are under our control for 5 or 6 hours or 7 hours. But today, the parents play an equal amount of role in terms of being maybe providing a proper, the technology or the internet facility, making sure that the family atmosphere is a learning atmosphere, not feeding children while attending the class, or not the whole family having a program, the child attending the class. All these can be a disturbance for which the child is not responsible, teacher is not responsible, the parents are responsible. So therefore, dear friends, the biggest challenge today than ever before for teachers is in online classes. As I said earlier, your subject knowledge can make you a great teacher, your communication or interpersonal relationship can make you a great teacher. But today, unless we master the technology, unless we understand the technology, we may not be successful teachers today. With that, we will move on to the next focus on us as educational leaders and principals. As we grow at different phases of an education industry or an educational institution, the life cycle, every institution has got its own life cycle. And the current, maybe the last 6 to 8 months, that during this time, the role of our principals have changed a lot. As educational leaders, we are expected to move from just mere managers to a leaders. I'm sure all of us know the difference between manager and a leader, or a boss and a leader. Boss gives command, a leader follows the command, and people follow it. So which means a leader's personal example matters a lot, and that is a big challenge, and we need to be an exemplary whatever it is, whether it is online class or it is all the more in online class. Generally, we talk about 2 types of principals or leaders. First type of principal who makes the school happy by his or her presence. First type of principal makes the school happy by with her or with his presence. Second type of principal makes the school happy with her absence. Whether, okay, you got it. So whether people are happy about my presence, whether people are happy about my absence, depends on how much my involvement, how much I am a motivating leader, not only to the learners, but also our teachers. We are talking about today, these days, a concept of a positive discipline. Okay, positive discipline versus punishment. All of us know punishment is the option, and that should be the last option. If I am using as a leader, or I am allowing the teacher to use punishment as the only option, as the first option, probably I may win or get the things done, but I may lose the students. All of us know punishment is a past focused, and whereas discipline is based on relationship. One important tip that I can give you from psychological perspective for the teachers is, whenever you want to discipline the child, please use their name and talk to them. That has got a tremendous amount of power in terms of changing their behavior. Using their name. When you call people by their name, and then even if you scold them, shout at them, the message reaches. We have experienced, and I have done that. And whereas in punishment, you focus only on the behavior, in discipline, you focus on a character. That's a big challenge for a teacher in online classes. Am I building students' behavior? Am I worried about children's character? Okay? And in punishment, I am worried about the control. Don't talk, mute, allow me to take class. Whereas in discipline, I am willing to connect. Dear friends, unless I connect before correct, my message will not reach the children. One simple message in discipline, positive discipline, is connection before correction. The first 30 seconds, a simple psychological tool, whenever you want to correct or whenever you want to change anybody's behavior, it is called 30-second rule. First 30 seconds, please do not say anything about their behavior. Message is not going to reach, whether it is over phone or personally. First, appreciate them for the 30 seconds. Whatever good things that you are able to identify. Supposing anybody feels, I am sorry sir, I am not able to identify any good things in that person, I am sorry, maybe I am not eligible to give a message. Which means I need to connect before I correct. Especially today's youngsters, those teachers who are dealing with the higher classes, class 11 and 12, or even 9th and 10th adolescents, this is very important, dear friends. And then punishment is more focused on creating fear. Punishment is more worried about creating fear, whereas here it is to motivate. Okay, and punishment gives the rules, and discipline talks about, explains the rules. Dear friends, unless I am willing to explain the rule, I am not a great leader. Any rule should be explained. If I am not, no, that and all, no, you just follow what I am saying, maybe I do not know whether people will really listen to us. Okay, punishment, end of punishment is result in shame and guilt, whereas discipline, confidence and trust that is getting built among the teachers and the students. Identity is created. Earlier you expect perfection in punishment, here you expect growth. The focus itself is different. Here punishment is always a short term or a, one term, whereas discipline is always focused. And so therefore we are educational leaders, we need to understand, we need to focus on discipline, and that too positive discipline than mere punishment. My humble suggestion, if you have teachers who are extremely good in punishment, it is a good time that you need to talk to them, focus their behavior from punishment oriented to a discipline oriented. This is called an iceberg theory. Okay, iceberg theory of understanding learners. Okay, now all of us know what is an iceberg. Okay, an ice mountain, Titanic ship went and hit an iceberg. Okay, now problem with this iceberg is only 20% is seen outside, remaining 80% is not seen. Okay, 80% is not seen, only 20% is seen. Fortunately or unfortunately, this 80% decides that 20%. Simple logical calculation. Now, when a student or when a child behaves good or bad, there is something called belief behind behavior. I'll repeat, belief behind behavior. Every child has got a belief behind that behavior. Instead of just trying to change the behavior of the learners, we need to identify the beliefs behind those behavior, and then if we are able to alter, easy for us to alter the behavior of the learners. So these behavior beliefs can be related to self-talk, self-esteem issues, how their parents have talked to them. Friends, the way we talk to children, that becomes their inner voice. That is why we need to be doubly careful with our words as well as labeling. The moment I am labeling a child, I am disabling the child. Okay, so a lot of behavioral patterns that emerge. These things we are now realizing these days during online classes. So that is about iceberg theory. And another suggestion, please connect before you correct. This is a simple psychological IPR, interpersonal relationship principle. Unless I become good in connection, I cannot be good in correction. First 30 seconds, please connect with the learners. Please connect with the teacher. Then you give your correction, the message will reach. Otherwise, people may not take our message. There is a concept called moral orphans. In psychology, we use moral orphans means, you know that orphans, no parents are there. Moral orphans means nobody is there to tell them what is good and bad. Both the parents are not there. Parents do not want to tell what is right and wrong because maybe they are busy with that. Friends and relatives are not saying. And if teachers are also not saying that, children become moral orphans. So it is my humble request, can our teachers be the parents of moral for our children? Let us not leave, it should not be for our children. Our children should not be left as a moral orphans. Please think about it. Okay, now few suggestions to motivate the teachers. Okay, today with the advent you have a lot of online classes. Please understand the teachers from their psychosocial perspective. Okay, look at this teacher. She's taking a beautiful class, only what you see. Okay, they have their own issues, they are relaxed, good, bad, all that. This is what I say, a successful offline teacher may not be an online teacher because technology has to be used. Second suggestion, look for a blended learning wherever it is possible. We have started using in our classes some online classes, some online offline classes. If it is possible, try to go for a blended learning. Okay, and build teachers for a long term. A teacher across all seasons. Okay, it is said that don't buy people, build people. As educational leaders, as principals, as coordinators, we need to build teachers. A satisfied teacher, a happy teacher is a productive teacher. You don't need to go for an advertisement. But if a demotivated teacher can make the life hell for learners. So the best thing is, as far as possible, make the teachers happy so that they are able to give their best to the learners. It is that, friends, you know that an institution is not known by its principal. Institution is not known by its building. An institution is known by its quality of the teachers. So can we build quality teachers even during this online, even during this pandemic? Can we say we have not lost touch even during this? We have a well connection with the learners? It is possible? Yes, it is possible. And develop teachers who are pillars for your institution, not just pillars for our institution. Okay? We don't want just pillars, we want pillars because the founding fathers have put the institution with great vision they have built. And we want people to carry the legacy. We don't want the pillars. And above all, develop members, not just numbers for our school. A teacher should be a member. A teacher should be an institution. All this possible if a teacher is. This is very interesting that I was browsing it. Be impartial and treat all equal. Okay, fat men are fat. Men are called fat only. But women are chubby, fluffy, cute, panda, teddy bear, I don't know what not. Okay, so just put it for on a lighter note. Okay, the message is be impartial. And this is very important, friends, as teachers, as principals, prepare teachers who are unique but not, different from us. Look at this teacher. She has got certain way of thinking. She wants all her learners to be the same, which is not required. Every child comes with his or her own ideology, uniqueness. We need teachers who can build their uniqueness. Now, how is it possible? The teacher should be able to build on her own uniqueness, but not being different from the institutional vision, mission, and goals. Sometimes what happens in some of our schools, some senior teachers, we have a school charism. These teachers have got a charism within the charism. It becomes a challenge for us as principals or educational leaders to, monitor. They have their own ideology. We need to monitor that. Unless their vision is tuned to the institutional vision, changing. Generally, teachers can be classified into 4 categories, dear friends. The first category of teacher has got a high will, low skill. That means highly talented but doesn't want to contribute. Okay, you may have some teachers. As I say, some names may be popping up in your mind about some of the teachers in your own school. Highly talented, but then they don't want to contribute to the school. Okay. Second type of teachers, they are high will and high skill. They are highly talented and they are highly willing to contribute. Okay, like some of our, these 3 of our teachers, animators, the moderators for the 3 days. Okay, highly talented, but then they want to give their best to the institution. And these are the teachers who build a brand for your institution, dear friends. Third one, category of teachers, low skill, low will. Neither they are good, nor do they want to learn, nor are they resigning. I went to one school, the principal was saying, sir, I told this lady, you resign and go. She is not going, sir, because her house is next to the school. What do I do to her? Okay, so neither they contribute nor do they are willing to learn. It becomes a burden for the institution. I'm sure you will have people, at least 10% you may be having that. Last one, low will but high skill. Okay, oh, I'm sorry, I changed. The first one is high will, low skill. That means the first one is they are highly not talented, but then they want to contribute. And the last one is what I said, they are highly talented, but we need to motivate them. Why they become that level, you need to find out the history. Because everybody starts their educational journey or a teaching journey with a lot of good intentions. Somewhere they lose the track, we need to find out. Okay? And let's prepare teachers with a sacrificial commitment. My suggestion is develop a strong, solid work ethics in our institution. Okay? It is true that we are friendly, it is true that we understand the teachers, it is true that we are empathetic, but we need to have a strong work culture in our institution. Unless we have teachers who are willing to sacrifice their individuality for the institution, who are willing to sacrifice their personal comforts for the development of the institution will not grow. I do not know how many old each of your institutions are, okay? But if a teacher wants, teacher can develop the institution. If we are not careful, be generous in your appreciation. Please appreciate a lot. This is, I know that, but it's only a reminder, just like what I will do. Okay, and with that we come to the end with a few suggestions. Make sure students are attentive in class. Always have a positive attitude. Try to start the class with some introduction. Okay, most of the time students refuse to switch on because we do not know how they are doing and what they are doing. Okay, and as it is a virtual class, try to motivate them. See friends, offline class, your physical appearance can be a motivating factor. Now in online class, since we don't meet them directly, we need to get connected much more than that. Okay? Reduce the amount of homework as far as possible. This is my suggestion. I do not know what is your school policies. Okay? So reduce the homework because I do not know whether this child is doing or the parents are doing it. It is like a teacher asked, did your dad help you to do the homework? No, miss. He did everything by himself only. So most of the parents may be doing it. So no need of correcting the parents' work. Unless make sure that during class, if we can engage them, that would be a good suggestion. Few don'ts. Avoid compelling to students to attend the class. I don't compel, but I do not know your school policy, so left to you. Don't stop students if they have any doubts regarding the topic. But you have to be careful. There are some students very conveniently hijack the entire discussion into something. Ma'am, can you explain this? Yesterday this happened. So the entire class, they prepare already and come. Hey, today you asked this question. Today you asked this question. They will conveniently take. You have to be very careful because some children are very good at it. Then third one, don't ignore the additional online resources. Today's children are living in the best time of the history. Today's children are living in the best time of the history. Maximum resources are available. Please let them use it. Okay. Only thing is we should make sure that it is not information overload. It is not too much information. And don't blame late assignment on technical problem. Okay. Some children say technical email was not there, cover was not there, data got over. No. They know it better. Don't take it then. And don't get irritated. Tremendous amount of patience is required. Dear friends, in one sentence if we have to put it, if a child fails, the teacher fails. If the teacher fails, the institution fails. The system fails. The principal fails. So a child's failure is not a child's failure, it is the teacher's failure. If the teacher is failing, it is the systemic failure. So prevention is always better than cure. You know that it is always better to prepare and prevent than to repair and regret. I'll repeat, it is better to prepare and prevent than repair and regret. So we as educational leaders, let us prepare ourselves so that we can prevent issues, psychological issues, mental health issues, because online classes, addictions are going to be a major issue. You do not know when they come back to the normal classes, what all the issues. Already we are getting cases for online counseling. We are doing it for a lot of one is social media addiction, pornography, because complete technology is left with the child. Parents do not monitor. We do not know really what's happening. That's one big silent siren that's happening. Please be alert. And labeling a student is disabling them. Please do not label. And punishment is the option, and that should be the last option of dealing with the child. And most of the time, disciplinary issues are because we do not communicate our expectations clear, either with the teacher or the teacher to the students. Please communicate your expectation. What is expected of them from the child or the student? And I'm sure you have seen this video. I'm not going to play this. Is it audible? Ma'am?
Noted, noted, noted. Not audible, not audible.
What do we do for that? How do I play this video?
Not audible, sir.
Not audible.
Not audible.
How do we play this video?
Not audible, sir.
Make it louder.
No. Excuse me, sir. Please,
Yes,
may
ma'am.
I suppose when you are
Not
sharing,
audible.
there is an option. There is an option for include system audio. While sharing, there is an option for system audio. Please click on include system audio. Only then will you be able to help us listen.
Yeah, okay.
So on the left side down, there will be an option for include system. Include system audio.
Now you are ready.
On the left side, after you click on sharing option,
Ma'am.
on the left side, there will be written include system audio.
Okay. First, I share. First, I stop sharing. I share. Okay. Where is it, ma'am? Left side. Include system audio. Very good. Very good. Very good. Now you are able to see this video. Teachers create lifelong impact.
Sir, not very clear.
No. I will just show you the PPT. You are able to see, right, ma'am?
Yes, sir. PPT.
There is a
visible.
person sitting. There is a person sitting.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Now I am playing the video.
Yes.
Now.
Raise the
Yes.
volume. Raise the volume.
Volume is less, sir. Unable to hear.
It's 100% here.
Unable to hear, sir.
Not clear.
If I put it in mail, will you be able
Not
to share
able
from
to
there?
hear. Not able to hear. Not able to
Ma'am?
hear, sir.
Okay.
Not
Ma'am,
able
if I
to
put
hear.
it in a mail, if I put it in share, will you be able to click
Yeah.
from there and share?
Yes,
Is
yes.
that-
That
I
will be
will put-
better. That will be better.
Okay. Okay, so first I will first I will stop sharing and I will go to chat box and here possible to attach, right, ma'am? Yes. Yes, ma'am. I have attached that video. You please play from there, ma'am.
Not
It's coming. It's
received,
loading.
sir.
Loading, please.
Meenu.
Yes.
Yes.
Please play from there, ma'am. You can share the screen and play the video.
Yes, sir.
नहीं मैम करो आप करो. This didn't work. Same.
It's not working?
No, sir. Not able to play from here.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Anybody? Okay. Right. No problem. I'll just, maybe I will send it through email. The other content when I send it, all of you can get it. This is simple, friends. This is about, I'm sure you might, it was in the viral in WhatsApp video only. There is a boy who goes to meet his old school teacher. Okay, the teacher says, The boy says, sir, good morning, good evening, I came to meet you. Okay, who are you? He says, I was your student. I studied 3rd standard with you. The teacher asks, when, which school? A very old teacher, he remembers. Yes, I am able to realize that you were that student. Yes, 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 yes. Now, what are you doing? The man says, sir, I am a teacher. Oh, you have become a teacher. What inspired you to be a teacher? And this person says, sir, you are the inspiration to be a teacher. Me? Inspiration for you to become a teacher? What is it? He says, sir, you remember when I was in 3rd standard, one day, one of my classmates, he came with a nice watch, wrist watch. Okay, I liked that watch. I know, you know that my parents could not afford to buy a watch like that. During the break, I took the watch from his bag, I put it in my pocket. I stole the watch. Okay, after the break, the boy came and complained to you, and he was crying, and you said, whoever has taken the watch, please give it. And nobody gave, and you said, close the door, all of you stand in the line, close your eyes. And I thought that was my last day in the school. I am going to be named and shamed. My dignity is gone. You came, put each one hand in each one's pocket. When you came to me, you took the watch. Then you continued to put the hand in other people's pockets. And finally, you gave the watch to him. I was thinking that today, things are going to be over. But you never said my name, not only that day, till now, you never told anybody that incident. Now do you remember that incident, sir? Teacher said, how will I remember? Because during that time, I also closed my eyes. Dear friends, that is the power of a teacher. A teacher can make a lifelong impact. Are we having such teachers in our schools? Can we prepare teachers who can create a lifelong impact? Is the challenge. Right. So, there are 4 stages a school can be. Okay. My invitation for you is to check where your school is now. A school can be in any 4 levels. First, a school can be run only for survival. Okay, I have invested, I have to pay salary to some people, so school is run just for a survival. Second one, a school can be run for security. Okay, whatever I have invested, I have to get it, I have to manage. Third one, a school can be run for success, to show off, for fame. And the last one, a school can be run for creating significance in the lives of the people. So my invitation, dear friends, to check where your school is now. Is it there for survival? Is it there for security? Is it there for success? Or is it creating a significance? With that, I come to an end. In the chat box, if you have any other best practice in your school, something uniquely that you are doing in order to engage the students more, something unique that you are doing in order to motivate the students, please write to us or put it in the chat box. We will quote it as an example in our next training program. We will create a brand for your school. Please let us know if your school has some unique practice that you have. And friends, never burn temporary, permanent resources for a temporary comfort. Every school has got an institution, every school has got a brand, every institution has got its own resources. Use it to build institution, not for temporary comfort. The more and more it is used only for current status quo, existing comfort, institutions do not grow. And please help your teachers to carry their heart with you when they go to the class. It is not only the brain that is very important, they need to be very empathetic, they need to balance between that. With that, I have come to an end. Okay, so thank you so much, and exactly it is finished. Thank God it is over. And if there are any queries, we can take it up. Over to Minu ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. Now we shall have a question answer session for 10 to 15 minutes. All the participants are requested. If you have any doubts, you can put that in the chat box, or you can raise your hand and also speak. Yes, the participants, you're requested. If anybody has any doubt or you want to chat with us, with Dr. Jonas Richard, you can raise your hand or put it in the chat box.
More than question, also your views, how you felt about it, anything. I think Deepika ma'am is raising hand.
Yeah.
Thank you, friends. Yeah.
Ma'am, you will have to mute yourself to speak.
Unmute.
Unmute yourself here.
Any idea that you disagree, please put it.
Yes,
Deepika ma'am, please unmute yourself and then speak. You will have to unmute yourself.
Deepika ma'am, there are 3 dots just in front of your name. Unmute yourself and you can ask your question.
Or ma'am, you can just type it in the chat box if you're not able to unmute yourself.
Thank you, friends.
Hello, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to say something. I'm from St. Angela Sophia School, Sunita Yadav speaking. So you said if we are doing something different from others in the school to engage the students. Like
yes, ma'am.
I'm a PGT from Commerce section to teach my children the partnership and how to start a business and all. We have a earn and learn program every year. So the students are asked to be in, as a partner. They form a firm and then they put up the stalls. And then they prepare the accounts from where they get the capital and how that capital is used. And then they have to give it back to their parents if they have borrowed. And also some value is inculcated, like they give some fund from their earning as charity. So that have come up very nicely and the whole school is involved in that. So yeah, so I'm really thankful to the management who's very cooperative. Our sisters are very cooperative and they always encourage us and cooperate with us to put up such things so that the children, they really learn how the business and the subject is more clear. So yeah, same way the principles of management are taught by setting example from the school, how the levels of management are there and how the school is operated and how the various functions are being performed. Same way with the principals, sir. So I just wanted to share it with you.
Which school, ma'am?
St. Angela Sophia, Senior Secondary School, Jaipur.
Okay. So that will be part of our next presentation. I will quote it as an example. Great.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Anybody else who wish to share their views? Or maybe ask some question? Yes, sir.
Somebody has asked about, I think, Sinu Thomas, ma'am, I think. She has asked about the iceberg theory. Now, iceberg theory is 20% of the iceberg only seen outside. 80% is not seen. That is how an iceberg is. Now, how we are using this theory in dealing with the students is, students' behavior, whether it is positive or negative, what we are seeing is only 20%. But why a child is behaving in a particular way is because of the 80% which is not seen. I gave an example of belief behind behavior. Every behavior has got certain beliefs. For example, the parents, If they are alcoholic parents, broken families, single parents, children who were mistreated by earlier class teachers, teachers who are children who have a poor role models in the society, children who are addicted to any of these things, they can show certain what you call exhibit certain behavior which was inappropriate, which is only 20%. Instead of just punishing the child, I think we need to get into the root, then we will be able to understand. That is why I said connect before you correct. Okay, right. Thank you.
Sir, we have another question by Saranya ma'am. She's asking that in this COVID time, so many students are undergoing problems of depression and all. We are giving moral support to solve these problems. But she wants to know that what is your opinion how to approach this problem?
200% right, ma'am. Today's children are currently, they are much more going through stress than before. We have something called the PFA, psychological first aid or emotional first aid. Teacher can provide emotional first aid. 3L we talk about. Okay, 3L we talk about. Okay, link, listen, and one more L is connect. You need to connect with the children, listen to them, okay? Then I'm sure you will be able to help them. So psychological first aid is something that you can provide. For serious cases, kindly refer for professional help because we are not really, because some issues can be really dangerous if we are not competent enough to deal with the issues. Teachers should be willing to make that extra mile. Earlier we have the home visit. Today we need not go to their home, make a regular call. Okay, we should be able to do that. This is called psychological first aid. I have one material, maybe I will send it through Father Thomas. Father can share it with everybody. Father, something on psychological first aid. A small material is there. We can share it with the participants, Father. It will be useful for the teachers to deal with the learners.
Fine, sir.
Thank you, Father. Okay. Anything else, ma'am?
Yes, sir. We have one more question put up by Deepika ma'am. She's asking that as students are becoming stubborn, how can we be as teachers and as parents? So your opinion on this, sir?
Okay. Number one, age of the child is very important for us to understand. And background of the child, is he the only child? Usually, single child comes with a lot of frills. They become a spoiled sport in any of the classes. If the parents are not properly educated, parents are single parents, parents who believe that money is more important than education, these children can be a problem. But still, if we approach from psychosocial perspective, I think we need to. See, there are some children, nothing can be done, try to get rid of them because they will be creating more trouble for the others. What I said, low skill, low will. They are not going to be with us. If they are such children, we have to prevent other children from these people. Okay, adolescent children, I understand, especially they are afraid of male teachers, lady teachers, they take advantage. I know that. Even we give case here, lady professors are sometimes afraid to go to certain classes because some children are really naughty. Very difficult to deal with them. Okay, certain amount, and please be very firm. Please be very, very firm. What we call it a calm courage. Be friendly, but then I'll put it the word calm courage. Calm courage is
Not visible.
But then you are courageous. Put things across. Whether they like it or not, we need to do that. Okay? Right.
So the slide is not visible.
Not slide, ma'am. I have written in chat box.
Okay, that is not visible to us.
Just now it went. Oh, sorry, I did not press enter. Now I pressed enter.
Yeah.
I'm also new.
Yeah, no problem.
Sir, some insight into goldfish model of study by
What is that, madam? Goldfish model? I'm not familiar, ma'am.
Yes, sir. No issues, sir. Anybody else who has any doubt?
Ma'am, may I?
Yeah, ma'am, please, sure.
Good morning, sir and ma'am. I'm Anubita, and I want to ask you that question.
Ma'am, your voice is breaking, ma'am. You're not audible.
Teachers, if you don't mind, you could post your question in the chat box.
Yeah, I've posted my
It's
question.
gonna put it up properly.
It talks about goldfish model of study, and these are the attention span of the students in the classroom.
Okay.
Insight into that.
Okay. So you are asking how to enhance the attention span.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. What is our class duration, ma'am? 40 minutes?
Beg your pardon?
What is the duration of the class normally?
About 30 to 35 minutes of actual study.
Actual attention span of a normal human being adult is 20 to 25 minutes only, ma'am. Even offline class, I am talking about offline class. So online class, unless, we need to be open to that. Okay, 100% talking theory is not going to help. Make it as interesting as possible, and every day we cannot be making interesting it. That is also there. Subjects like history, what will you do? Every day you cannot conduct a war online to show this is what happened or that is what happened. Okay, so we have to complete the syllabus and we need to manage. Only thing is, we can make it now and then make it more interactive. Instead of teacher talking so much, make it as interactive as possible. Even through your trainings, that always pays back. As the father had put it in the chat box, today's children are much. We have our own students calling up, sir, we want to come back to the college because family atmosphere is horrible and terrible. Alcoholic father, abusive parents, what do you do? That is why one child has put it in a WhatsApp status. Okay, ma'ams are better than moms. Ma'ams are better than moms. At least my teacher understands me. My mother doesn't understand me. So they are going through. They want to come back. Hope everything ends fast. Yes.
Yes, sir. We have another question by Father Thomas only. That he's asking that there are so many issues children suffer in this lockdown. So, what are the possible academic activities you can suggest?
Okay. Number one, ma'am, we can connect with each child. Okay. A casual call. I'm sure you will have, of course, you will have a formal WhatsApp group. Informally, casually, we do that. These are all some of the things that which we are doing it. All the class teachers, the class animators are just casually to ask, okay, how are they? Anything is there? Any issues related to paying the fees? Okay. So if a teacher can connect, it will be good. Slowly children will open up, especially in schools. I think children become more open if we are able to connect to them. So the class teachers, the class animators need to get to connect with them, and once we know there are some issues, challenges, definitely you can talk to them, give them time, or talk to the parents. If possible, we can think of some online session for the parents. We are doing it, online session for the parents. How do they treat children? Because these times is very crucial and critical for children, especially if they are in their late childhood. Between the age of 8 to 12 is a very critical age for anybody to form opinion about certain things in life. 8 to 12, late childhood. So if the children are at this age, I think earlier children, we were doing that role effectively in the classroom. Now we need parents' help to give children. And if you have your own biological children, you please become expert in that. So de-professionalize yourself. That's my suggestion. De-professionalize yourself. Don't be a teacher at home. Be a mother at home. That's very important. If you're a teacher at home, then it becomes a problem for your children and your husband. They do not know what to do with you. And they are waiting for a lockdown to get over so that you can go to the school. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, sir. As we are short of time, we'll just take the last question for the session. It's asked by Prema Gautam ma'am. As teachers, we also have to teach them the art of survival and to connect better with home and parents. Sir, please suggest ways how parents can be brought into the picture.
Okay, very good. Now, before I go ahead, I will answer Sister Janet's question. she is asking a very interesting question. Why teachers are unhappy? Okay. Everybody starts school, everybody starts their education journey happy only. But somewhere down the line, teachers become unhappy. What could be the reason? Number one, how this particular teacher was handled. I strongly believe in that. You know that in our institutions, we principals come and go. Sometimes if the teacher is not rightly motivated or if the teacher is over empowered, when there is a partiality, people who do not deserve, if they are given too much attention, people who are talented are sidelined. Sometimes teachers can become unhappy teachers, number one. Number two, by nature itself, certain teachers, their expectations keep increasing day by day. We cannot do anything, we have to say goodbye to them at the earliest. Because they may spoil the atmosphere and they may spoil the new ones or the younger teachers who come. Okay, so finding out the reasons, belief behind behavior. Everybody is happy, like it is like in Bangalore, one school happened. They took a child for admission, nursery. Sister said, "Hello, child, welcome, welcome, very nice. You are like an angel, very good girl." The child joined Angel. 10 years over, the child studied up to 8th standard. She became the naughtiest child in the school. They wanted to punish the child. They wanted her to take the TC. They called the parents and the principal said, "Your child is devil. Please take her out. She is spoiling others." Mother said, "Sister, please stop. 10 years before when I brought the child, it was told she is an angel. Today, you are saying she is a devil. She is in this school only. She has not gone to other school. Who converted her from angel to the devil, sister? Kindly explain. Then I will take the TC and go out." So, dear friends, the atmosphere that we create, okay, and still there are some teachers over expectations. I do not know what is the culture there. I'm just randomly speaking. Father has not spoken to me anything. Some teachers may indirectly pressurize the teachers for students for tuitions. Okay, if you don't come to me for a tuition, I know certain privileges may be missing it, because this happened in one of the schools when we went to Bhopal. That was the challenge. I do not know Jaipur, that is the situation. Okay, indirectly putting pressure on the child. Okay, so these teachers are not going to add value, sister. Sister, we will make best efforts. If they are still, please say goodbye to them. They will spoil the others. Ma'am, what was the question? I forgot.
Yes, sir. It was a question by Prema Gautam, ma'am. She's asking that as teachers, we also have to teach them the art of survival and to connect better with home and parents. So suggest ways how parents can be brought into the picture.
Okay, right. Generally, we call parents only, when do you call parents? Only whenever the child does something wrong. It should be the other way. Parents should be an active stakeholders. Okay, identify, I'm sure you're all big schools, your children's parents may be in a reputed position. Okay, involve them. There is what do you call, stakeholder management theory is there. If the parents are influential and powerful, kindly involve them on a day-to-day basis. If they are influential, but they don't have any interest in our school, at least give them minimum information. There may be some parents who are actively involved, but then they are not very influential in the society. Don't take them for granted. They can become a big trouble for us. Today, any nonsense they can write about school online. So our online visibility is very important. So please manage your online branding, online image, and that's very crucial. Otherwise, people can really spoil our hard work all through the years. Okay, right. I think.
I think we can wind up with the session. Thank you all the participants for your active participation.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Thank you, Dr. Jonas Richard, for enlightening us with your kind words. The full form of DCM AC that was given by you goes well with the present scenario. It was very interesting. We got to know a new thing today. The do's and don'ts of the online classes was also very well explained by you. And the line that you gave, the statement that you gave, it is always better to prepare and prevent than repair and regret. It is a very true thing which actually justifies the teacher. It goes with the teacher. Yeah. And the iceberg theory of understanding students was very well explained by you. And I also think that the role of principal is to motivate the teachers goes well in today's scenario. And thank you so much for enlightening us by your kind words. Thank you.
Thank you, Father Thomas, Bishop, for having given this opportunity. Okay, it is really an honor when you have this diocesan level meet. Okay, and whatever little we know that I could share. Thank you so much. All the best for the next 3 days session. Thank you, Father.
Sir, thank you so much for your time and for your contribution to train our teachers. Thank you very much. And we are old friends.
Thank you, Father.
And we will continue to be friends.
We are very old friends. Thank you. We got it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much, Dr. Richard. Now, let's go for a short break. We will be back at sharp 11 for our second session, taken over by Father John Ravi.
Okay.
Thank you.
अभी 11:30 बजे, तो हम क्या बाहर से निकल लीव करेंगे क्या?